Man, day 5. Surprised that I've gotten this far. Although I do love routine, and it's kind of an interesting thing. You know, I made a self discovery that I may potentially be autistic the other day, and I really don't know how to feel about it. But as I look into it, I see there's a distinct chance that I might be. Um, so many things you go down the checklist. It's like, yep, that's me, that's me, that's me. But not everything applies. So I'm not really too sure. And again, I don't think that it really matters too much about if I am or I'm not, because it doesn't matter. I'm already me, already here. I've been living on this earth for quite a long time. So, just trying to make sure that I'm aware of who I am and, continue to do self discovery and everything along those paths. It's weird though. It's weird because you think about your life in such a way, and then you find out something different about yourself that maybe explains something that you had no clue, but then it all kind of fits together. You're like, oh, I feel a little bit like that's what's going on right now. It's kind of mind blowing, really, when you think about it. That there's so many things in our lives, and everything's just so complex, right? And everything can be something else. So, am I autistic? Am I not? I don't know. And I probably never will, because what am I going to do? Get diagnosed? What good is that going to do for me? Who cares for the most part? Um, so, I don't see a lot of point in doing that. And that's okay. At least I think it's okay. I don't think there's really much of a downside for not getting tested for it. It's not free, and it's not going to change my life. I am who I am. I'm already a father. Um, I'm already with someone. Like, these things don't change. It's just more of a confirmation than anything, and that's good. I'm totally okay with that. The subject of suicide was brought up recently, as it affects people I know and people that I dearly care about, and it's one of the things that, man, I really feel that for sure, because I've been there in that position where you think there's no way out, and maybe that's just the easiest, best option. And it's so easy to think that way. And I think once you've thought about that, it's really, really hard to kind of put that back in Pandora's box. Like, it's open. I've had those thoughts since forever, and the more down in the dumps I get, the more it comes to mind. But there's a lot of difference between thinking about doing it and actually doing it. And you know, obviously, you never know who's going to do what. It's sad though. It's sad that you know people think about that that's the option, that's the way that they may go ahead with things, because it doesn't really solve the problem. It just eases your pain, but it puts pain on everyone else. So, that was always one thing that I thought about, you know, if ever I went down that route, like, where and how, and then thinking about the mess, somebody's going to have to clean it up. Um, those are always things that stopped me from doing it. I think that that's really super important too. I mean, it's such a selfish thing to do, and I get the pain is real. And I'm not talking about somebody who's got a chronic condition where they're in lifelong pain, and they're just living with a debilitating disease or injury or whatever. I don't judge. It's not up to me to judge anyone. Lord knows I have my problems, and I really try my best not to judge anyone for just about anything. Um, but I will say, having been there, I've looked at that, and I've thought about it pretty seriously. Like, that's not a path to go down. It's not. Again, if you have something, a chronic or a terminal or whatever. Um, all dignity to you. But I'm saying for those of us who are just going through issues in our lives, like it's a selfish act to take your own life, basically. And I know that may seem harsh, but I've been there and I've been on the other side of it too. Luckily, not anyone that was absolutely super close to me, and I hope that I never am. I mean, it's just horrible. Um, you already feel like, man, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known that that person was hurting so badly. Maybe there's something I could have done. And I can only imagine that if they're close to you, how much worse that's got to be. So, all that stuff is left for the survivors. And there's always something that can be done. Always, right? I mean, it's if you need help, you have to ask for it. Not everyone's going to know. We're not going to know. Like I said, I've been on that side contemplating it, and no, looking back, nobody knew what I was going through. On the outside, I looked fine. On the outside, there's no way anyone could possibly have known. So it's just one of those things where you got to ask for help. And, I don't know if this will ever reach anyone, and that's okay. But man, don't do it. Don't do it. There's so much better stuff out there. And not every day is going to be amazing. There's going to be a lot of bad days, but there's going to be other days that are great, just great. And sometimes just being a normal day is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The days that are amazing versus the days that aren't, come on, it's in the minority. Most days kind of suck, right? That's just human existence. That's how we define ourselves. But none of that means getting rid of yourself. And I'm sure I will forever have thoughts of it, especially when times get hard or something comes up or whatever, right? Like it just I think once it's in your head, it's always there. At least that's how it's been for me. So you deal with it, right? Yep, there it is. There's that thought. Okay, let it go. Let it go. And I know it's so much harder when you're in it, when you're spiraling down, and that seems like, man, that's the best option, but it's not. It's definitely not. So I'm just here to tell you, like, you're worth more than that. And, we all love you. And don't do it. Reach out. Tell somebody you're hurting. Trust me to listen. I'll listen. Reach out. So don't do it. Please don't.